Okay, so the next group of animals that are the lowest hanging fruit are small breed dogs. People want small breed dogs, even the Chihuahuas. And they do. It's amazing, but they do. And because we used to call Chihuahuas the small pit bulls of the world. And, it's hard to adopt out both groups, but comparatively speaking, they're nowhere near each other. Chihuahuas are, people do want them. And people want pit bulls too. It's just a little bit harder to get the right person in the door. Okay, so the definition of small breed dog to us was 25 pounds at an adult weight that's normal. So if we got an extremely emaciated, pit bull in the door that weighed 25 pounds, that doesn't count as a small breed dog. So because we got some of those, I'm sure everybody's seen those, and they're generally dying because they run out of time, just like the puppies. They are terrified in the shelter environment. They are one-person dogs, and so when they go to the shelter, they are freaked out. There's people grabbing them, all sorts of strangers. There's big dogs barking. If you think about the typical little dog, they don't even spend 10 minutes outside a day, and then all of a sudden they're in a shelter. And, of course, they're terrible patients, so they get labeled aggressive very quickly and then fast-tracked to euthanasia. So small breed strategies. Foster homes, again, foster. One of the strategies that one of our rescue workers came up with that I think was just brilliant was a hold and release technique. And what she would do is literally put on oven mitts and go grab these little dogs and just hold on to them, put them up against her body, and just hold them. Not talk to them, not pet them, not interact with them in any way, shape, or form, and just wait for them to sigh and lick their lips. And it would generally take 5 to 10 minutes, and they would just be stiff and sitting there, and then all of a sudden they would sigh and lick their lips, and she would put them down, not talk to them, don't pet them, don't do anything, just put them down, back out of the cage, and leave. And over 90% of these guys that were aggressive and unhandleable, the next day when she showed up, these dogs would see her from across the courtyard and just go crazy and just jumping up the front of the cage, come over here, come over here, come over here. And so what makes sense. These dogs bond with one person. They need somebody to bond with. And in that environment, the bond happens really quickly. And that was good because we were worried that some of these dogs were actually really aggressive. And we've come across less than 5 that actually have something wrong with their brain, that they're human aggressive. But the rest of them are just terrified and they're little jerks. And, we all know that as vets. That's normal, but people love them. And the other thing about small breed dogs and puppies is their fractures heal very fast. They're not the large dogs that have weight problems. So bone fractures can be taken a little bit less seriously. We'll talk about triaging bone fractures, but you don't have to go to these elaborate surgeries for these small breed dogs as long as you're upfront about your communication about what you're doing and also trying to create good 4 legs that are pain-free for the rest of their lives, or 3. And then foster, these are just strategies to get them adopted. Some of these dogs won't bond. They don't bond with anybody in the shelter except for that one person. Same thing happens in a foster home. So they go to a foster home, and the foster has adopters come over to their house, and the dogs are trying to bite the new people that want to adopt them. And so one of our strategies is just to pack up their bags and send them to the adopter's house for a sleepover. And then 30 minutes later, they're bonding with the adopter, and the foster's nowhere to be found. Small breed stats, we've been able to save over 1,800 in the last 3 years. And so that's a chunk that's digestible. That's not a huge number of the 14,000 animals that were being euthanized. And so that's a really good attainable goal, is to save every small breed dog. And 95% save rate overall. A lot of small breed dogs are turned into the shelter for humane euthanasia when they're extremely old and are ready to be euthanized.